So we're going to do something a little bit different today. I want to talk about music theory for guitar players. Normally I do videos on music production and guitar, but we're going to talk about music theory. And my hope is that this is going to help you to fill in some of the blanks if you have questions about music theory. We're going to talk about 5 key areas, starting with intervals, going into major scales. Then we're going to talk about triads and seventh chords, into forming chord progressions, and finally into minor keys. So let's get started and talk about music theory for guitar players. Hey, real quick, before we get started, we're going to be using an excerpt from my book, The Miller Music Guitar Method, for this masterclass. If you are interested in picking up a copy of the book, it's available on Amazon. You can just look up Miller Music Guitar Method or click the link in the description below. Okay, the first thing that I want to talk about is intervals. Now, intervals form the basic building blocks for all of music, okay? And an interval can basically be defined as the distance between any 2 given notes. So because there are 12 notes in Western music, there are 12 different intervals. And I have these broken down here on the diagram below, from the smallest interval over here all the way to the largest interval. Okay, so minor second would be the smallest. It's only a half step. It's 1 fret up on the guitar. A major second is a whole step. That's 2 frets up on the guitar. Minor third is 3 frets, or you can go to the next string, all the way up to a perfect octave. What's interesting about intervals is that you can use them for ear training too. So if you're training your ear, this is typically the way people would learn. So you'd memorize songs based on certain intervals. So for example, a minor second, I think of like Jaws. So ba-da, that's a minor second, bum, 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 bum. You know, the Jaws song, that's a minor second interval. Or a perfect fifth would be like Star Wars, like bum, bum, ba, 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 ba. So bum, bum. When I hear those 2 notes together, I know that's a perfect fifth. Or a perfect fourth is, you know, Here Comes the Bride. Bum, bum, ba, da, bum, bum. That's a perfect fourth. So each interval, you can memorize a certain song in your mind, and that will help you to memorize what they sound like when you hear them. Having an understanding of intervals will help you to form the basic building blocks of music. These shapes, again, are from the guitar. So like a perfect fifth, for example, is a power chord. We all know those. Octaves over here, that's like the same note, so it's 12 half steps up or 6 steps. If you think about a song for an octave, it would be like Somewhere Over the Rainbow, like somewhere. So that's an octave, the same note. So these are intervals. If you're thinking about a major scale, which we're going to talk about next, you have seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths, and sevenths. So because you have 7 notes in the major scale. You can have a minor interval off of the seconds, thirds, the sixths, and the sevenths. So you'll see there's a major and minor second, a major and minor third, okay, major and minor sixth, and major and minor seventh. Now, as we'll discuss, minors tend to sound a little bit more dissonant, and majors sound a little bit brighter or more happy. But there is and then the fourths and the fifths are basically a constant interval, or consonant. So basically they don't have as much color to them. So a perfect fifth and a perfect fourth, that's why they're called perfect, and as well as the octave. Sometimes you'll see it called a perfect octave or a perfect 8. Okay, the second thing I want to talk about is the major scales. You've heard this. There are major scales in music. Think of like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That would be a major scale. There are 7 different notes in the major scale, or 8 notes if you count the root starting and then the root where you end it. There are basically sharp keys and flat keys. So if you were familiar or saw the cycle of fifths anywhere, there are basically 6 sharp keys, 6 flat keys as you go around the cycle of fifths. And the way I have it written down here is you are going in the cycle of fifths. So if you go C to G, it's called the cycle of fifths because you're going up 5 notes, C, D, E, F, G, okay? And the reason I have this is because every time you go up 5 notes, you're going to add 1 sharp. For example, the key of C has no sharps or flats. It just does C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. When you go to the key of G, you're adding an F sharp, and the reason for that is because the major scale is made up of this pattern: whole step, half step, whole step, half step. So when you get to the key of G and the last two notes are E, F, you now have to make the F sharp, because E to F was only a half step, so you want to go E to F sharp, which is a whole step. And then that would make the pattern of the major scale. So the key of G has an F sharp. Now every time you go up, now the key of D has an F sharp and a C sharp. And the key of A has an F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. So you're always taking the sharps that you've had in one key and then adding them to the next when you're doing the cycle of fifths. Now the flat keys is kind of going through the cycle of fourths. You're going the opposite direction. You're going up 4 notes every time if you're going around the circle, and you're adding 1 flat each time. So the key of F has a B flat, okay, if you were to use that whole step, half step pattern through the major scale. And then B flat has 2 flats, E flat has 3, A flat has 4, D flat has 5, and G flat has 6 flat keys. All music has this patterns of major scales, okay? And we're going to talk about this, how this applies to chord progressions in a later section. Okay, so the third thing we're going to talk about is triads and seventh chords, okay? Triads form major chords, okay? So major and minor chords, but triads are 3 notes per chord, whereas seventh chords are 4 notes per chord. You're basically building thirds. You're stacking thirds on top of each other. So for a major triad, you're using the notes C, E, and G if you're in the key of C, because you're using 1, 3, and 5 of that scale. Now, if you want to make a minor triad, it's 1 flat, 3, and 5. So you are flatting the middle note. So it's C, E flat, and G. Okay, that makes up a minor chord. Major chords tend to sound happier. Minor chords tend to sound a little bit darker. That's the characteristic of major versus minor. Now, there's also other triads. You have suspended triads, which is 1, 4, and 5 of any major scale. You have an augmented triad, which is 1, 3, sharp 5. Okay, they tend to sound a little bit more dissonant. And a diminished triad, which is 1, flat 3, and flat 5. Okay, so you're taking these intervals now that we've learned before, you're flatting them. So a diminished triad would be 1, flat 3, which is a minor third, and then flat 5, which is a tritone. So you get a very dark sounding chord. Now the next step is seventh chords. Seventh chords are basically chords with 4 notes in them. All right, so you have a major seventh chord, which has 1, 3, 5, and 7. So you're adding the 7th note to the chord. So it's 1, 3, 5, 7. That's a major 7th chord. Dominant 7 would make up the interval 1, 3, 5, flat 7. Okay, minor 7 is 1, flat 3, 5, and flat 7. So you're doing like a minor triad plus a flat 7, and then you have minor 7, flat 5, and diminished 7. Seventh chords are commonly used more in jazz music, in blues, R&B, whereas triads you tend to see more in like, pop music, folk music, rock music. It's kind of a little bit more simplistic because it only has 3 notes versus the triad, which has 4 notes in them. So now I want to break down what a chord progression is. You may have heard what, chord progression terms, but basically a chord progression is a group of chords that repeat over and over in a song. Songs throughout all Western music have chord progressions, whether it's classical music or a pop song, current pop song, or a rock song. A lot of them are using chord progressions. So chord progressions are built off of the major scale, which we just talked about. And you have basically a triad built on each step of the scale, and then it forms this pattern. So the one chord would be, if we're in the key of C, one chord would be C, E, G, that's 1 major. 2 is the minor, okay? So if you started on the key of, the note D, which is the 2nd note in the major scale, you have D, F, and A, okay? So that makes up a minor triad. If you build the 3rd note of the scale, you get an E minor chord. The 4th note, you get F major. 5 is major again, G major. 6 is minor, A minor, and 7 is diminished. So that would be B diminished if you're in the key of C. This pattern never changes, okay, unless you go outside of the key. So it's always major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. That's the pattern, okay, to stick within that key. So now when we have a chord progression, we follow a series of patterns using those chords. So for example, we have 1, 4, 5, which would be like the simplest chord progression. We use Roman numerals to analyze the chord progressions usually. So C, F, G would be like a very simple 1, 4, 5 song in the key of C. If you have another chord progression, which is super common, 1, 5, 6, 4, this is basically like, you know, every single pop song on the radio now. So you have the 1 chord, which is C, followed by the 5 chord, G, to the 6 is A minor, and then finally to the 4 chord, which is F. So this is like if you've ever heard I Am Yours by Jason Mraz, Let It Be by the Beatles uses this chord progression, or half of Taylor Swift songs use this chord progression. But 1, 5, 6, 4, super common chord progression. And then we have others here. So we have 6, 4, 1, 5, 4, 1, 5, 6. That's another common chord progression. But usually what will happen is we'll take a section of a song and we'll keep repeating that chord progression. So the verse may have a chord progression that's used throughout the whole thing, going to the chorus, which may even use the same chord progression or change chord progressions. So that's chord progressions. And in the next section, I want to talk a little bit about minor keys and how the chord progressions are in minor keys. But I encourage you to listen to some songs and try to figure out the chord progressions, or take some songs you already know and you may realize, hey, this is a chord progression that just keeps playing throughout the entire song. The melody is what changes, but the chord progression stays the same, which is, it's kind of interesting to think about that way. Okay, the fifth thing we're talking about today is minor keys. There's really two ways to think about minor keys. One is the relative minor, which is basically found on the 6th note of any major scale. So if you have, we're going to go back to the key of C for an example now. C, the relative minor of C is A because it's 6 notes higher. So C, D, E, F, G, A. A is the 6th note of C. So this is the relative minor, and what's interesting about this is the relative minor and the major have the same notes in them. So the key of C major and A minor has the same notes. You're just starting from a different note. So in the key of C, you're starting from C. In the key of A minor, you're starting from A and going up to A. But it does share the same notes. Okay, so that's relative minor. Think of these as like brother and sister chords. They're very related. Parallel minor is a little bit different now. Parallel minor is where you have the parallel. So if C major and the parallel minor would be C minor, so that they share the same root note as the key. When you get this, the notes are going to change because of the intervals of the minor scale. So for example, a minor scale has do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te, do. So the 3rd is flatted, the 6th note is flatted, and the 7th note is flatted when you have these intervals, okay? If we're back to the key of C, we have C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, and B flat. If you're doing a chord progression, the chords are now different. So we have, instead of 1 major, we have 1 minor, 2 diminished, 3 major, 4 minor, 5 minor, 6 major, and 7 major. And technically, the 3rd, the 6th, and the 7th, because those are flatted, you should say flat 3 major, flat 6 major, and flat 7 major. But think about this relative major and relative minor. A quick tip for like writing songs is if you're in a key, if your verse is in major, try for the chorus switching to the relative minor. That's a really good way to change keys in your song. You could also even try the parallel minor. So if you're in C major for the chorus, try the verses on C minor. There are some examples in pop music that do this a lot. But this is a really brief intro into minor keys. They're a little bit more complicated than major keys in terms of understanding them, but they are important as well. So I hope you found this video helpful. I do have another video. You can click it up here. It's music theory for music producers and applying it to music production. Just click the link up there. Also, if you have any questions, just leave a comment to this video. I'll be happy to get back to that. And lastly, if you are interested in the Miller Music Guitar Method book, just click the link below or look up Miller Music Guitar Method on Amazon. And I will see you on the next video. Thanks.